All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Caregiver Support Programs webinar with the Baltimore County Public Library. Today we are hosting Marlyn Norotn, who is the Administrator of Adult and Community Community Engagement with the library. Just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. Today's webinar is being recorded, so all video features are turned off for attendees. But if you have any questions, feel free to add them in the chat, which you can access in that lower right corner of the screen. So as I said, we are hosting the Baltimore County Public Library today, and Marlyn is going to be talking with us about mobile services and programming for older adults with the library. So now I will turn things over to them. Let me just stop sharing my screen and I will let you share yours, Marlyn.
There we go. Well, thank you so much. I very much appreciate the opportunity to talk about library services today. I do administer mobile library services for the library, so the focus of this presentation will be more on what we're doing in the community with our vehicles, and then also our library by mail program. However, I do want to start out with talking about the things that you can access both within the library physical branches that you have in your community, and then also the digital sort of online portion of the library. So with that, I'll go ahead and share my presentation. Let's make sure that this works and I can see it. Are you able to see that, Nicole? Is that working? Great. Awesome. So the Baltimore County Public Library, that's my name and my title down there. So why don't we go ahead and hop in, and let me just make sure that I can skip to the next one. There we go. So what can you get at the library? And like I said, we'll just go ahead and talk about the branches first. And so we do have quite a lot of things you would absolutely recognize for being normal sort of library items, right? So we have books in many formats. We have regular books, books in regular print, I should say. We also have quite a good collection of books in large print. Then we also have CDs for those individuals who prefer an audio format. And then also this item right here, Playaway, might not be familiar to all individuals, but this is another audio format of book. It's like a small device, smaller than a cell phone, but maybe a little bit larger than, or similar and a little bit smaller than maybe a calculator or a cell phone, but it's a device with buttons on the front. And it's one where there's one book that is on that device, and you would power it with a AAA battery, one of those very small ones, and some headphones or some sort of an audio a speaker. And so in that way, that's another audio format that we have that we offer to the community. And then we also have both ebooks and we have audio books. So these are both available on our website, or more information is available about them on our website. Another item that we have that I did want to talk about is our library of things. So I don't know if you could see in the presentation, but that one has an underline under the word library of things. And so that's one where there's a link from that particular section. So you could go to that page. If you were accessing this presentation, you could just click on that part and go right to the page where we are talking about library of things. I did want to try and go to some of these links a little bit later in the presentation just to help us visualize what some of the things are that I'm talking about. So hopefully we'll be able to visit that page. But then our library of things is, like, say, in addition to all of our books in all of the formats, we have items that you could check out. So items would include things like Chromebooks. Chromebooks are sort of smaller, easy to use laptops that you could use or that you could get from the library. We have board games. And then the last item there I think is pretty great, especially for those individuals who are caregivers, and these are memory kits. So as individuals are dealing with memory related issues, memory kits are things that are maybe games, or they could be, we have these things called busy bottles. And they have little items in there that you can look and sort of find. And they're also conversation starters. And these are items that are meant to help individuals who are suffering from memory related issues to be able to have conversations started surrounding family or music or the great outdoors or spring or fall, so that individuals might be able to kind of play the game and then have a conversation about things that they remember. And so those are individuals, those are items that are kind of targeting individuals with memory related issues, but they're also intended to be used in such a way so as to help caregivers have some active time with the individuals that they're taking care of. So hopefully we'll see those on the page a little bit later in the presentation as well. So more things that you can get at the library. And actually, I didn't take out this passport services item. When I was looking at the links for the presentation a little earlier, I noticed that that portion of our website is not accessible. And so the link is here, but currently it will take you to a page that's not working. So I did want to talk about it, and so I left it in, but the link won't work currently. I did create a sort of a notes page for individuals who might want to be able to use this presentation later on, or at least the information from it. So I did take it out of there, but as you're looking around the website, you would be able to see at least that we offer passport services, but the page is currently being worked on as of this conversation. So we do offer passport services generally, and those would be like when you make an appointment with the library, they will take your photo, ensure that your documentation is correct, and then they would send that information in. That is one of two items that you would pay for as a service when you go to the library. So you would pay for the service of having your photo taken and having your documentation approved before it's sent out. And it's similar to what you would pay in other spaces for passport services. The other item that you would pay for is this notary services thing here. I work in mobile services, and so we also offer notary services, and hours are free on any mobile services that you would access. Inside of the library, they're $4. But if you visit the bookmobile, those items would be free. So there are 3 libraries currently offering notary services. Essex, Owings Mills, and I believe Catonsville, but you can definitely get notary services in the library branches. And then also Wi-Fi hotspots, and actually this one maybe should go in a collection item because these are a part of our collection. As far as when I know we have about 1,000 Wi-Fi hotspots that can be borrowed currently. So these would be checked out just like a book. You would take them and have them for 3 weeks, and then you would check them back in by basically giving them to the staff member at the desk in any of the branches that you go to. So these are all things that you can access as items that you would get in a library. Items that you can access virtually. I wanted to talk about our research databases and some of our streaming services. So with our research databases, these are things that you can access both in a branch on a computer and then at home on a computer. So if you are interested in being able to receive the Baltimore Banner newspaper, the New York Times, and actually I believe the Washington Post too, but I didn't include it as another newspaper because, I thought maybe Consumer Reports would be another item that folks would want to know about. But if you're interested in receiving any of those, you could go to our website under research databases and be able to find out how to use those for free from home. So you would need your library card number to be able to do that. So just make sure you have your library card handy. And if you have any issues, say like you lost your library card, just call your local branch and they can help you work that out. We also have streaming services. So I know a lot of people, including myself, who like to stream media, maybe music or movies or shows. You can do that with services that you pay for outside of the library, like Netflix. But within the library, we have access to 2 spaces where you can stream, and these are Hoopla and Canopy. These can be used as apps on a phone or another type of device, or they can also be used via their websites. So you could log into those. And again, those are free. You do need to create an account, and you do that using your library card, but those are free things that you can access. So what else can you access at your library? Well, programs definitely are some of our bigger things that we offer within a library setting. We also offer virtual programs. And so programs would be things like story times for kids. Story times for kids are traditionally what we think of when we think of library services or programs, I should say. but we have so many different kinds of programs. I was telling Nicole prior to the start of our the presentation that we actually have a business professional working within my department, and that person will help members of the community get started with their business by helping them understand the laws in Baltimore County as well as Maryland. They're not experts as in lawyers, but they are experts in what's going on currently in this space. They also can help them create a business plan and then understand tax ramifications of, say, different types of businesses that you can have. So that's an example of a person that you can access, but then also we offer programs on that. So you could get programs on business. We work with a lot of members of the community. Say the fire department offers hands-only CPR training. And so that's something that we offer inside of our branches in partnership with those folks. We also work with the Humane Society, which I've heard called Be More Humane now. And so the Humane Society offers programming in our libraries. And some of that is like, say, a program that I often hear called Pause to Read, PAWS to Read. So say if you have an individual in your family who's kind of nervous to be reading and is in the process of learning, or, you know, just interested in pets, those individuals can go and maybe read to a pet within the library, or other individuals can just, you know, spend some time with pets inside of the library. And they do this with several different kinds of pets. Usually we think of cats and dogs, but they also have, I think, hamsters and one or two other kinds of creatures that you could pet. But also, we offer programming that's virtual. So if you don't have the ability to get to a library branch, we do offer virtual programming, and we try and offer as wide a variety as we can. So definitely business programming is in that sort of type of programming, but then also we have a music meetup group. So if you're interested in music, you can get into that program. And that one's really a lot of fun because you can ask for a song that you like to be played, and then also listen to songs from other members of the group. And it's really a social time, and it's a lot of fun for those music lovers amongst us. So those are examples of programs that we offer that are virtual. So usually we use Zoom. So you would register for those on our website to be able to do those programs. So in terms of the mobile services, and this is my purview, so I know a lot more about these items than I do even about the other items that are offered. But when we think of mobile services, these are always services that are going to be via some sort of vehicle, right? So these are a bookmobile program. So to start out this portion of the conversation, we have a bookmobile vehicle, and this is what it looks like right here. And so with our vehicle, what we do is we try and bring library services to members of the community. So you could see in the bookmobile that we definitely have books. I don't know if you can see the computers that are kind of in the middle of the screen, but we check out books using those computers to members of the community. So we try and provide as many items on the truck as we can. In the photo, you could see books, and in fact, these ones are just regular print copies. Behind the person taking the camera would be our large print collection, which is like almost the whole other side of the vehicle. So the books that you're seeing there kind of on the middle of the screen or the left of the photo, those are going to be more large print titles. But we also have audiobooks on both CD and Playaway. We try and bring materials that are, say, a variety of interests. So we have mysteries, newer fiction. We also have urban fiction is generally what it's called, as well as romance titles. You can get those in sort of more spicy with a Harlequin romance title. Or if you're interested in something that's just, you know, like quite a sweet story, we actually have a genre called Amish romance, and those ones are going to be less spicy. So we just really try and provide as many different kinds of items in that setting as possible. And I did say earlier, we don't have any sort of till or ability to take money on this vehicle. And so we don't charge for anything that we do on the bookmobile. And so notary services that we provide are going to be free on the bookmobile. And then what else? We are, as a library, we've gone fine free. So if you have a book at your house and you're worried because it's been a little bit past the due date, you could still bring that item without fear of getting a fine because we don't charge them anymore. If items are damaged or lost, we do in that case charge, but we even on the bookmobile, we try and avoid charging it off if at all possible. Because I don't know if you can see on the left there, it says bookmobile, and this is a service that targets adults in senior living communities and adults day facilities for individuals with mental and physical handicaps. And actually, let me go here to the next screen because there's a little bit more information there. So this is kind of what it looks like when somebody's checking out an item there. The bookmobile, it's a very small library that goes to the community. Stops range on the bookmobile from 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how large the space is and how many people come. We can make library cards, check things out. We do bring programming to the spaces. So a couple of our spaces, we brought a harpist, and that person performed inside of the facility while we offered library services outside. We've brought that hands-only CPR individual from the fire department on our vehicle and provided that training. And then again, we can get documents notarized. But the bookmobile, I should say, visits a lot of senior living communities in Baltimore County. I think at last count, we had 55 stops or 52. I'm not really sure how many. But regardless, we're going to many, many of those. So if you reside within a senior living community, chances are we may come there. And if we don't, we might be interested in how we could provide services to that space. So later on, I'll provide my contact information. So if you are living at a senior living community and you know that, for instance, we don't go there with our bookmobile, you could reach out and say, hey, I was interested in seeing how we could get this started. We will often decline to provide bookmobile services at spaces that are like apartments, say, because it's just very hard for us to be able to announce what we're doing in those spaces with no central activities director. But oftentimes we will then add those spaces to our schedule. So let me see, what do we have next? Our lobby stop service, and this is one that I would say is a little bit newer. We've been offering this service for about a year within Baltimore County, but it is a transition from a prior service. So it's not new what we're doing. It's just new the combination of items that we're doing. So our lobby stop service is a service that targets adults in long-term care facilities in Baltimore County. So with our bookmobile service, generally we're taking that to spaces where folks are a little bit more mobile, right? They might be able to get up the steps to the bookmobile and then be able to access books within the space. We may have individuals who are in walkers and wheelchairs, and that generally we accommodate those individuals by bringing items out to them. Unfortunately, a bookmobile is not very accessible. And so if you were an individual living in a long-term care facility, you would not be able to access much on the vehicle, unfortunately, because these are individuals who just, really couldn't make it up the steps and oftentimes would prefer to stay indoors or need just more care than we're able to really provide in that service. And so this is a service where we're actually going into the spaces. So we have 10 lobby service stops. And these are all within, again, Baltimore County. And so we'll go in and you'll see Roger's kind of sitting in the background and he's got his computer there in his blue bin. And so he's actually checking materials out. And those items are coming from a nice big cart that we bring into the facility. So folks are able to, with this service, still access our library collection because we bring it in. We'll bring all of our items in on a cart, but we don't stop there. If you are interested in something that we don't have on the cart, that's totally fine. We'll place a hold on that item in our collection, in the whole Baltimore County collection. And in fact, If we don't have it in Baltimore County, we can get that item from, I don't know, Wycomico County, any county in Maryland. And so we have a lot of customers, I'll give an example, who are really interested in Danielle Steele titles, and they love to go through her whole back catalog, for example, but they might need those items in large print. Baltimore County's collection is a little bit more current than that. We don't have all of Danielle Steele's older items, but that's fine because in other counties within Maryland, they often do. So we can bring those items to even these long-term care spaces. And what we'll do is Roger in the background would place a hold on those items, and then they would be brought during the next month's stop. So we're able to check out just a wide variety of items to these customers. And then also the other thing that we do is while we are there, our librarian, who's not pictured, she's actually taking the photo here, would provide programming. So this particular program was one that we did, oh gosh, actually a couple months ago now. And so this one is a vision board. So we brought all of the materials and supplies for this particular program. And so customers who were interested in participating would then, cut those items out and paste them to the board. And these are things that either spark something positive in them or things that they're interested in, things that they want to remember. And I did this actually at one of our 10 spaces, and I just really had a great time with this program because it gives my staff the opportunity to just sit down and actually, we'll see in this next photo, sit down and just hang out with customers and just spend some time talking. This is a space that we go to where it is a long-term care facility and it is a memory care facility. And so the folks sitting at the table are folks who are definitely experiencing memory loss. And so we're able to just kind of be with them. We're able to be with them experiencing what it is that they're experiencing in the moment. So we'll have all sorts of conversations. And, I often talk about the work that I do as really enjoying getting out into the community. And I will just admit that this is probably my favorite service to be able to get onto and get out into the community with, because we can just hang out, have a conversation. So with this, again, we try and provide a full library service. So customers are able to get a library card, they're able to check out materials, and they're able to participate in programming. And that programming is not just like any old thing. It's programming where we've done a little bit of education. We're not experts in, say, dementia or related disorders, but we've done training on how to do programming with those individuals. So we really do try and target our programming to our audience. And then, you see the cart in the background. That's the exact cart I'm talking about. We try and tailor our cart and the materials that we bring to the audience. So I mentioned Danielle Steele because she's popular, but also James Patterson and John Grisham, and a lot of those authors are quite popular. So if you were to look at that cart, you would see a lot of materials that our audience appreciates, and you would see a lot of items in large print as we use those, as we bring those items because they're in demand. And so the last service that I really wanted to talk about here is the Mobile Library Support Center. And this one would be kind of a little different from the other two, similar in some senses, but also a little different. So the Mobile Library Support Center, this is the vehicle, and it's a little faded, but in the back end of the vehicle there, it does say Mobile Library Support Center. So you notice it's a Sprinter van style vehicle, so it's not very large. It's quite small on the inside. It has an awning. And what we do with this vehicle is that we try and make this our sort of mobile hub or a mobile library for other portions of the library. I was talking about before the presentation started about how librarians, we tend to, gosh, how can I say this? We do like to adopt new formats for items. So everybody knows that you can find books at the library, and that's absolutely true. You go into the library and you see our shelves are filled with books. But when books started to become digital, we started to fill our digital shelves with books as well. So maybe not as visible, but definitely also there. When you go into a library branch, you would notice that we have partners present. Like I said, I guess I've used this example a couple times now, so I should probably use another one as well. But we have the fire department come and teach hands-only CPR within our library setting. And so we actually try and bring those partners into the community with this service. And that's the main focus. In the vehicle, we do have books. So customers coming to stops with this service could absolutely check out books, and they could place holds on books. They could do a lot of the things that you can do in a library. Make a library card, for instance. But when we come to different spaces in the community with this service, we actually are focused on bringing our partners. So if we think of books as say, a container of information, think of our library partners then as the container of that information. So these are people. These are individuals working for, like I said, the fire department, but then also another organization called Love in the Trenches. And Love in the Trenches in our community is one where they hand out Narcan. They give away Narcan for free. And Narcan is a substance that will help individuals who are overdosing, and it will stop the overdose pretty much immediately. So these folks hand out Narcan, and then they also train folks on how to use it. We work with Maryland Volunteer Lawyer Service. So individuals who need legal services can get that through our partner. And so we bring that partner as the container of information about free legal services onto these stops. So this one is a little bit different, and it's one that's not often thought of when people think of library services. But like I said, we're fine with reconsidering what a material ought to be presented to our customers when it makes sense to bring a book instead of a partner, or a partner instead of a book. We just like to make sure that our customers, that is the residents of Baltimore County here, have the information that they need to live their lives in the best way possible. So this is a picture of the inside of the vehicle. The vehicle itself is just a Sprinter van size vehicle, but when you look on the inside, it kind of is more like a little office. So it's got, this little bench that you could sit at, a little table in there, and then also another little chair. It's accessible because it has this lift right here to be able to help folks to be able to get into the vehicle. You might think, oh, but this table is in the way, but that table can be removed and just set aside for the portion of time. And this gives our customers a private space, because if, say, the Maryland Volunteer Lawyer Service wanted to offer some legal information and a person needed to be able to share something slightly more private, we wanted to make sure that that person had that private space. And so this sort of smaller office is that private space that our customer and partner can go into to have that more private conversation. We make sure that this is like heading into the summer season. It's going to be hot, so we make sure that this is a space that's cool in the summer and warm in the winter, so that those folks are going to be comfortable in that space as well. So kind of moving on. You'll see in this photo an example of this gentleman on the right-hand side works for an organization called Sharp Dressed Man. And his whole goal is to be able to give clothes to individuals, especially more professional clothes, to give clothes to customers who need those. So he is another example of a partner that we bring to various spaces. And he's just given, this happened last summer actually, but he's just given a suit to this other gentleman. And the purpose of the suit was just to be able to have it for a wedding that was upcoming. And this one was one that was really touching to me because, if you don't have great access to resources, but you want to participate as a member of society, say you don't have money for a nice suit, but you're going to an interview, or you're going to a wedding, or you're going to something of importance in your life. I think this organization, Sharp Dressed Man, is doing some really great work in the community by making sure that those items are available to individuals who have the need. Now, Sharp Dressed Man works with individuals who identify as male. However, there are other organizations that work with female individuals to be able to get them those clothes. So in that case, that's just another service that's by extension provided by the library, really provided by Sharp Dressed Man, but we're just making sure in the community folks know and have access to that resource. So on the left side of the screen, the Mobile Library Support Center. Currently, these are the spaces that we visit. We have 5 spaces with this service. We visit 3 shelters in Baltimore County, 1 food pantry in the Essex area, and then also a senior center, and that's actually Liberty Senior Center. Folks can get access to library resources, so they can check out books, like I've said, but then also They can get access to library information like what I'm sharing now today, but then also library partners and the partners that those resources provide. So the last thing I really wanted to talk about during this presentation and discuss is our library by mail program. Of the services that we offer, this one is the newest, so I wanted to talk about it anyway in this presentation, but definitely to individuals who are caregivers and really need resources because they're sort of more at home or are working with or caring for, I should say, an individual who is much more at home and doesn't have the capacity to get out of the house very easily. That's why we've got this library by mail program. And like I said, it's newer. It's only about a year old. And so this service, we have a lot of it up and running, but we have fewer participants in the service. So as of when I wrote this, we had 12 customers, but actually since then we've gotten a couple more. So we are looking to build this particular service. And I think that just letting folks know that we have it is probably the main key to that. So the library by mail program is like most library by mail programs in other counties in that it is available to individuals in our county. So Baltimore County Public Library's library by mail program is available to residents of Baltimore County. Anne Arundel County has a library by mail program, and that is available to folks in that county. So these are going to tend to be county specific, because with these, we're actually going to mail these. I don't know if you can see this pouch here, this teal pouch. We would mail this teal pouch full of whatever you choose to your house. And so since the library is footing the bill for that, we want to make sure that we're targeting the folks who are our library customers in this county. And so for this one, we're real specific. However, most counties in Maryland do have a library by mail program. So if you are watching this presentation and living in a different county, you should reach out to your own county to see if you can access a library by mail program through that county. But just a little bit of information about it. So with this, we would mail up to 5 items a month to your home. And this is free to the customer. So anybody signing up for this program, they would not pay anything to be able to receive this. And like I said, up to 5, a library customer who's able to go in the branch would get access up to 100 items checked out on their card at any given point. So I realize that this is not quite as many folks would like. With our bookmobile customer, we went on a run yesterday, and I think one of our customers checked out like 30 items, which is crazy. I realize most customers are not like that. I am a healthy user of the library myself, and usually I do not check out 5 items at a time. So this will help a lot of people, but there are some who would say, I would actually like a little bit more. But 5 items is a good start for us. I would say that as I'm talking about this, we really would love feedback on this. So as I'm saying, like, we can offer 5 a month. If you are one of those customers who would say, well, actually, I would like quite a lot more, you could give us feedback, and we are currently seeking that to be able to make this program a better fit for our customers. So please do offer that because we would like to make things better and better. And with enough feedback to say, actually, 10 a month is better, we might even be able to change that to be more items per month. So anyway, that's quite a lot of talking, but customers would be able to receive currently up to 5 items a month. We're currently serving 15 customers. The way to be able to access this service is kind of laid out in these 3 bullet points below. Customers need to have a library card with a Baltimore County address. Then customers would also fill out a certification of eligibility form. So this is basically just going to say that I am not capable of leaving my home easily. And it's going to be signed by another individual. So the customer would have their name and information there, but then also this might be signed by the caregiver. This might be signed by a medical professional. So a doctor, nurse, also social workers can sign these. And then also I think we have a therapist able to sign. We recognize at the library that you might have, I usually use agoraphobia as an example because it's one where I know that individuals do not want to leave home or have issues that would prevent them from leaving home easily. So that is an example of a reason why you might be fully qualified for this program. You might also have recently had surgery, and so you might not be able to leave home for a short period of time, relatively speaking. Or you might actually just have a difficult time leaving home without assistance. So this program is for you. So have those individuals sign that and you can send that in. And then optional, of course, is this book selection form. So some of our customers who are at home just don't really have easy access to our website. And so we were trying to think about how could we make our collection more accessible to our customers when they want to be able to access items from home. And so we came up with this book selection form as an idea. On the book selection form, you would definitely see things like I read books in English or French or Spanish, any of the items that we have in our collection. I prefer nonfiction, or I prefer fiction, or, you know, you could check both of those boxes. There would be an item or a space for the format of those items. So it would be like, I like playaways, I like CD books or books on CD, I like large print or any of the items that we have, magazines, DVDs. And then my staff who are really knowledgeable about, you know, current authors and even older authors, we would go through our collection and find things that match your criteria. So just the other day, we mailed out a library by mail envelope like this to a customer who likes science fiction. And so we sent her a science fiction title. And so you can see how we're really trying to meet the needs of customers living in Baltimore County. So this is a newer program that we have. And I think, yeah, actually that ends the presentation part, but I did want to go out to our website. I have a couple pages available in our website, and so I wanted to show you some of the things that I talked about. And so I'm looking, and it looks like you can see this. Nicole, I know that you're muted. I'm sorry. If you could hop in at some point and just note that you can see this. Oh, great.
Looks good.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, wonderful. I appreciate that. Okay, so just scrolling down, this is our website, Baltimore County Public Library. And if you could see the top part right here, it's bcpl.info is the page, the URL, the page address. So just kind of scrolling down, and I've got this up here, but this is our Library of Things page. So with our Library of Things, you can access just quite a few things in our library. So we have board games, book club kits are pretty popular, especially with our bookmobile customers. So you can access book clubs. For those individuals looking to market items, we have camera kits. This is a picture of the Chromebooks that I was talking about. So that's one of the items that you could borrow. CPR kits. And actually, I did want to scroll down past some of these. Really, frankly, these are really well-loved items. Here's an example of one of our hotspots. That's kind of what they look like. We also have induction cooktops if you were interested in getting into induction cooktops. Those are great. I was kind of nervous about it, but I got one of those and tried it and just really enjoyed the experience. And then boom, here we go, our memory kits. So if you wanted to be able to place a hold on those or get those, it's fairly easy. You would just click right there, or you could type in memory kits. And so this is going to show all of the memory kits. Unfortunately, they don't have the little photo here. So I did have a picture right up here of the memory kits and what they look like. So this is, they call them busy bottles. And so you would basically spin this. And then as you're spinning this little busy bottle, you would find the little items in here. So this one is great outdoors. And then you have a little card that you can mark off the ones that you've seen. So this is great for sparking conversation for individuals who are experiencing memory related issues. I also wanted to, here, let me close this one up, show you these Shake Loose a Memory game. We have some of these. So if you're interested in getting games to be able to play with the person that you're caring for, especially with memory related issues, these ones are cool because you roll a little die down here, and then based on the number, you choose a card. So you kind of get a good selection of different items, and then it just is a conversation starter. Another game that we have is this Match It Vintage Edition game, where you take two different cards or different cards that have different pictures, and then you mash them up together. So they're not straightforward items. Sometimes they're like a little bit, you have to think about them. So it's a bit of a challenge. So you see the books on the left and the top of the photo and the typewriter. So they both have typing or letters or prints in common, right? So you would match those. This one is kind of in my way. Yeah, there we go. One other item that we have is a puzzle. Melissa and Doug offers puzzles that are just really super sturdy. So we have one of these in our collection, and I couldn't find a photo. So here I am on Amazon just trying to show you a photo of this puzzle. So this is one that you could also check out from our collection. We do have more, but I figured I'd show you at least just those. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is our digital collection. So I didn't talk about it quite as much, but with our digital library, like I said, we do have access to streaming items. So you'll see Hoopla and Canopy listed there kind of in the middle of the page. But then also books and audiobooks, we have 3 different apps that we use quite a lot. And the middle one is my preferred one, and it's kind of the most popular one there. It's called Libby. It's free. You can download it as an app to your device. And then you could basically just be able to listen to audiobooks or ebooks, read ebooks. I want to say it's very easy to set up. And this is, I'm saying this as a person who has also assisted some of our customers who really don't have great confidence in tech. So individuals who are maybe more nervous about downloading an app, we're able to walk them through the process and get it downloaded and get them going within less than a half an hour. So it doesn't take a lot of time. And that's with, choosing an item at the end so that they walk away with something that they have. This is something that on the bookmobile, our staff would walk you through. They'll also walk you through this in the branch. So if you were, say, a little nervous about using this your first time, don't even worry about it. Go ahead and just head up to your local branch, or go to your bookmobile stop, or give us a phone call on the number that I'll show you in the end, and then we would be able to help you out with downloading any of those apps. So last thing I wanted to show you, these are programs that we have. So in the Baltimore County Public Library, we have a couple of social workers. So these are virtual programs where, from the safety of your home and the convenience, you could go ahead and hang out with a library social worker, get involved in a music meetup. If you're interested in writing a book, you could learn how to finish your novel. These are all things that you could do within the month of June. So these are June programs that we have. So I just wanted to show you all those there because they are great options for if you want to get involved in something, but you're not really easily able to head out. In fact, I do those quite often too. And then also, here's the last thing. This is our library by mail homepage. So with this one right here, you would be able to, if you're interested, you would be able to fill out everything from this page. So you could get your library card finished, you could get your certification of eligibility finished, and you could complete your book selection form right here. You could do that online and get started today, or you could call our number, which is right down here. In fact, I'll show it to you, 410-887-7586, and get a paper application to be able to do this one from your home. So there's options onto how to get involved both digitally with the Library by Mail program, or we can mail something to your house, so also in paper, either way. And then there's more information. I kind of went over all of this, but if you're kind of interested in checking it out, that's available there. So I definitely wanted to be able to include all that info with what you have accessible to you at the library. And that actually concludes my presentation. So here I wanted to end off, I think at least on this one. Let me see the presentation. Let me see, share. There you go. That's my number there. And so if you were interested in reaching out, you would be able to do that with my information, my phone number there, and also my email. So there we are.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful information.
Oh,
I
good.
appreciate it.
Good.
Just a couple of questions we have.
Sure.
So with the library by mail, I know it's a newer program, but couple of questions about that. So I know folks can get books. Are they able to get other items as well, like DVDs and some of the other items that you guys had mentioned in reference to borrowable items?
Yeah, really good question, because we do send those items out in those little pouches. So anything that
Right.
fits in a pouch, we'll
Got
send,
it.
but even oversized books, unfortunately, we can't
Yeah.
currently. And then no fishing poles.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And fair enough, right? But I think that we would look into that, but currently library of things items are excluded,
Got it.
unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That
So
makes
thanks
sense.
for the question.
Yeah. So, in addition to, I know you had mentioned with downloading apps like Libby and things like that, that you guys can offer support with
Yeah.
downloading that and everything.
Mhm.
I know a lot of the older adults we work with also like using the, I think they're called the playaways that you mentioned.
Yeah, yep.
Do you guys offer technical assistance with those as well if somebody's new to
Mhm.
that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And in fact, we usually on our bookmobile is where we get most customers checking those out. We usually just bring extra batteries and headphones so that when a person walks away, they could listen to it immediately. They have everything that they need, and we can usually show them how to use it in just a couple minutes right there. So yes,
Okay,
yeah.
great. Okay, good. And then I think the just a couple more questions was one about the bookmobile.
Mhm.
Um, I know you were saying that, for some of the stops you guys do library in the lobby for folks who are maybe not able to get onto the bookmobile, but if the bookmobile stops somewhere and somebody is not able to get on there, can a caregiver go on to the bookmobile on their behalf and pick things out and check them out for
Mhm.
them?
Yeah, yeah. And actually, as the supervisor of the team who goes out, I definitely would say that I am proud of my team because they are individuals who do go above and beyond for good customer service. And so a lot of our customers are individuals who've used the library pretty much their whole lives. And so we try and make this portion of their library use as easy and seamless as possible by taking away the barriers. So I know that in many spaces, if you go into a branch, they'll say, well, we need your library card actually. And that's totally fair. But we've been going to the same spaces for, gosh, many, many years. And a lot of my staff know the customers that they're seeing. So they'll say, Miss Karan, that's totally fine. I can just check you out right over here and I'll bring your books to you. Or what do you like? You like some mysteries? That's great. I got a couple great cozies. Let me bring them out to you. And then when customers are coming with a caregiver, they can absolutely check out anything on their behalf. Although we usually have sightline for that person. It'll usually be like, hey, your caregiver has these ones for you. Is that fine? And then they'll say, yes, oh, I like those. And then we'll check them out. So that hopefully the process is secure. Like we know that this is the individual that we're talking to, that we're checking items out to, but as seamless and helpful as possible as well.
Great, thank you. And I think the one final question is in relation to one of the programs you mentioned, and
Mm-hmm.
the name of it is slipping my mind, but
Sure.
where individuals can read to the animals.
Yeah, yeah.
So we occasionally do serve caregivers who are older adults that are raising
Mm-hmm.
children as well. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we have caregivers who are grandparents who are the primary
Mm-hmm.
caregivers of children.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a service that they would be able to utilize? And if
Yep.
so, how do people who are interested in that find out more or sign up?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. They could do that in a couple different ways. They could just go online and search through the program to be able to find the programs that they're interested in their local branch. They could also just call their local branch and ask any questions. The staff are generally very helpful and very knowledgeable about the programs that are happening in their spaces. And then in general, I would say in the library, we see a variety, say a diversity of community members who come in. So we're super familiar with families that look slightly different from whatever we expect the normal to be. You know what I mean? And so we try and make sure that our customers are safe. Like, is everything here happening that's totally appropriate and safe? But other than that, we try not to ask questions because we even know that people's information, that's their private information. So we don't delve too much into, hey, is this your actual family member that's bringing you in?
Oop, I think we lost video on Marlyn there. We'll give them a second and see if that video comes back. In the meantime, I am just going to share my screen for a moment so that I can put our contact info up there. That way then, if anyone has any questions about their caregiver support program or anything that we talked about today, there is our contact info. And in addition, we will send out any resources that Marlyn covered today via email later this week. And like I said, if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out. And in the meantime, we thank you for joining us, and we hope that you have a great day.